How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, live stream Friday. As we do every Friday night, we come together and we talk about the news, the latest in the fall of Western civilization. We talk about, culture, pretty much just all the latest that's been going on. Uh, with politics, culture, what have you. Joining me, as always, as usual, is my co-host Liberty Swine. How you doing this summer, man?
Damn fine, man. Out here slaving in the heat. Glad to be off for the weekend. Yourself?
Yeah, man. Fucking, yep. Yeah. You got a slight smidgen of rain. Other than that, we're totally in full on DEFCON global warming out here. But yeah. So we got a little bit going on in the news as we've been really just kind of seeing over the last couple of weeks. It's really just been the Democrats kind of running around with their heads cut off like chickens, trying to figure out how in the hell are we going to get rid of this doddering old fool. Some of them are legit just coming to terms with the fact that I think he might have a little bit of dementia. For real, it's really kind of fascinating just seeing the I I don't even know what to call it, just the veil breaking. Them finally peering past the veil that they've been trapped in for the last 4 years, and they're half of them are starting to realize, like, wait a minute, he's got dementia. And then you're also seeing the people that are out there that, like, yeah, motherfucker, we've always known he's got dementia, we just been hiding it. You could really kind of tell the difference in how people are reacting. The people that are still out there riding with Biden, so it seems those people are the legit people that are scumbags that have known this fucking doddering old fool is literally kept on a fucking adrenochrome life support, and they still continue to force him to go out there and dance, puppet dance. And then you got the other people that are actually just coming to the realization that, does Joe Biden have dementia? And those people are actually probably the most important people, the donors. Ooh, so
Right.
yeah, so Biden had his quote big boy press conference, as the Democrats have been calling it, which really lets you know how much they really are riding with Biden. And yeah, that's not been going over well. A lot of these donors have been threatening to pull their money. I believe it's frozen right now, right?
90 million of the 200 and some odd that he raised. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it looks like this goose is cooked, right? At least that's what it would seem. Of course, he is still the only one that pulls anywhere near close to Donald Trump. So I mean, they're really between a rock and a hard place right now. Again, cornered animal. It's a terrifying thing, and we're we're seeing like I said, the veil break right now.
And you can't forget, man, even that, what comes close to, like, they cherry pick polls, just like they found one where they're like, Kamala's actually higher than Biden's. And then they find the one poll where Biden's leading Trump, and they're like, see, the polls are
Right,
lying to you.
right.
Not this one, though.
Not this poll. See, you guys been watching the polls. Those are misleading. You guys,
Right.
so many numbers going at you. You guys probably just got confused. You guys just need to watch this one independent poll funded by Biden 2024, right? That yeah, we also got the Commie Party, otherwise known as the Democratic Socialist Party of America, seeing as the fact that communist parties are banned in America. They just have to relabel themselves, and they just get to go continue on their merry way, plundering the wealth of nations, right? So they have apparently pulled their endorsement, seemingly excommunicated one Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, right? So the reasoning is because she's apparently not jihadist enough for this commie organization, right? Um, Again, another wedge that's been going through the Democrat Party lately has been the free Palestine versus the fact that a lot of the people that are very well funding the Democrat Party are Jews, right? So that, again, rock in a hard place. Yeah, really, it's kind of between a rock and a fucking liver spotted old sagging fucking bones pedophile place. But you get the gist. We also got the Biden DOJ is dropping the obstruction of an official proceedings charge, thanks to the ruling from the Supreme Court in the Fisher v. United States case. Right, so it's looking like, again, another house of cards is falling for the Democrats just before the election. Yeah, so basically, what was it? One of the is, I believe, it was a ex police officer, right?
Fisher.
Yeah,
I'm not positive, but I know that that the shit he was charged with didn't match up his actions. You know what I mean?
right.
I'm not too familiar with the dude himself. Like I've read up on the case,
But basically, what the ruling was it basically, paraphrasing, of course, but it made it to where, in order for the obstruction of an official proceeding to actually stick, there has to be some sort of physical obstruction, right? So they basically have to, actually go in there and interrupt proceedings and make it to where that they physically can't do it. They have to go in there and, I guess, like, steal documents, or there has to be some sort of tangible obstruction. Again, I'm paraphrasing. We'll read into it a little bit, but.
Right. But even that, like it was created for a rider for the people at Enron. So when you destroy fucking documents, that there's actual charges for it. You know what I mean? Because they had underlings there shredding paperwork at Enron as the place collapsed. So this was the way to charge those people.
Nice. But either way, so a little bit more clarification is seeming like it's going to be a better ruling in the January 6th defendants. Of course, this is just one aspect of the charges, the obstructing of a official proceeding charge, but it is a pretty big charge. So I mean, there's that little light at the end of the tunnel, possibly. Right. Of course, there is also the best possible route, which would be getting Donald Trump elected. All right. We also got Hillary Clinton with an FEC violation that is 45 times larger than Donald Trump's so-called Stormy Daniels hush money case, or hush money payments, right? So basically, this is from the 2016 election, and basically, from what I read, it seems like she just kind of wrote off everything into one big old fucking bundle and just like, here, it was this. So she's basically doing the whole Democrat thing and just not specifying as they're being so particular with when it comes to Donald Trump, really just highlighting the clear double standard that there is when it comes to the justice system, especially in the upper regions, right? Let's see. We're also going to be talking about the SAVE Act, right? The SAVE Act, which is basically let me see. I got the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, right? So basically, this is a simple, one-page fucking act, which would basically make it to where only American citizens can vote in our federal elections, right? You would think it'd be a no-brainer, but we actually have 198 Democrats that voted against this act. Only 5 Democrats were voted in favor for it, and we had 216 Republicans voting for it. So it did pass, of course, by a bit of a not necessarily narrow margin. It is pretty good margin, but at the same time, 198 representatives of the United States Congress just voted that no. You should not need to prove that you are a legal U.S. citizen in order to decide the direction of this nation. So that's some shocking stuff. We'll go over that a little bit too. Yeah, man. What's your thoughts? You want to throw anything in before you get going down the big boy conference route?
No, let's jump in, man. Get in it.
Yeah. All righty. So let me pull these up real quick. So, as we know, Joe Biden had his big boy conference, right? So, what does a big boy conference mean exactly? Well, it's really kind of, obviously it's a patronizing way to make Joe Biden seem like the doddering old fool that he is, because, of course, the Democrat establishment and the media, a lot of the wealthy, the people that are actually, pulling the strings, know that he can't win. and know that he's not going to make it, through another term, knows that the people are painfully aware of it now. And so, yeah, they're basically putting him on full display for everyone to see, in order to try and switch him up at the last minute. What are we down to, like 4 months left?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he gave this quote unquote big boy press conference, and it went just about as you would probably expect it. Right. So, what's your thoughts on that one? Or you want to?
Well, you got to remember this was the follow up to the NATO fucking speech. You know what I'm saying? Where he went on to say, talk about the president of Ukraine, one's fucking president's Putin's. And
Right.
And then immediately opened up his big boy speech with he wouldn't have elected Vice President fucking Trump if he didn't think she could run the country, man. You know what I mean? Though he thought she couldn't, she's not equipped to run the country, right?
Right.
Like you said, it went as bad as you think. This was supposed to be, the reclamation of the fucking campaign or overnight reinvention, and the dude just fucking crashed and burned. And you had the same cheerleaders out there, oh Harry Sissy and whatnot, across the inner zones, like Biden's killed it. You know what I mean? And he's on there. He gave a speech off the cuff, no teleprompters. And in the photos, the further out still shots and shit, you can see there's a fucking teleprompter on either side of the podium, man. So not only you can bet this was rehearsed 100 times since they announced it was going to happen till now. But the dude was reading 2 screens and still couldn't get the fucking shit right, man.
Right. And I mean, of course, he's got the infamous Biden list, right? Every time that he has any sort of press conference, the off the cuff press conferences, he always seems to come out and, okay, what do we got? We got so and so over here at MSNBC. Go ahead. Right. Obviously, he knew the questions in advance, and they really just, like I said, they know that all they have to do is put Joe Biden out there, and he's going to go ahead and make a fool out of himself. So, yeah. And again, we've really only seen very, very few press conferences given by Joe Biden throughout his entire 4 years in office. Right. They rarely let this man go unscripted, because every time he does, we roast him. That's kind of the thing. that's been the norm for the past couple of years, right? So yeah, the dude's an embarrassment to the establishment, and they're letting it be known. They're not going to let this dude continue. All right. But let's go ahead and real quick, before we get into the Joe Biden press conference, I thought we'd give you a quick demonstration of what an actual press conference is supposed to look like. Right. Let's do a little bit of a flashback here. So this is what an actual off the cuff press conference is supposed to look like. Let's go ahead and check this out here.
Wait a minute. Then the follow up.
You heard my answer. Go ahead.
Well, since it's Jim, I'll let it go.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to challenge you on one of the statements that you made in the tail end of the campaign in midterms.
Here we go.
If you don't mind, Mr. President, that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that.
And why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants
Not
in this
at all.
election
No, not
to
at all.
try
I
to
want
keep
them. I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process,
Legally.
and I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your campaign.
Wait. You know why we need the people? Because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
But your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and
Well,
so
that's
on.
true.
But
They weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing
They
that.
weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. These were people. This was an actual, it happened a few days ago. And
They're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of
you know
miles
what?
away.
I
That's not
think
an
you should-
invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings
Let
would
me
be
ask,
much
if
better.
I may
Okay,
ask
that's
one other
enough.
question, Mr. President. If I may ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's
Mr.
enough.
President,
That's
I was going
enough.
to ask one of the other folks. have
That's
had-
enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President,
me, that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other
Peter,
question,
let's
if
go.
I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have
I'm not concerned
indictments-
about anything with
that you
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming down?
investigation because it's a hoax.
Are you,
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
All right. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Smack Jim Acosta across the mouth, and just so liberals know, that's what you're fucking scared of. There was nothing that dude said that was harsh. As a matter of fact, it lacked fucking teeth. I want him to come, but I want him to come legally. Fuck that, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to have them because businesses, so they can keep fucking wages down. In a proper functioning society, those businesses would come in. People that aren't happy in their positions would move up to a higher paid job, and then there'd be more starter jobs for fucking kids and yada yada, man. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. Shit. Unfortunately, fucking kids nowadays fucking entitled. They don't think they have to work. And most of them fucking grew up with mommy and daddy paying for everything. So they have that entitlement.
Don't worry. That's all about to change.
Oh, yeah. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. And I think we're fucked.
The dollar fucking quickly loses value.
All right. It's like this one right here. Historic moment as the vice president meets with the president of Ukraine at a big boy conference. Good old libs of TikTok. All right, let's go ahead and check out Joe Biden's himself.
President Trump to be vice president. I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
Criticism from tonight.
Hold up.
Referred to Vice President Harris as Vice President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
This concludes tonight's press conference.
The fuck does that even mean, bro?
This concludes tonight's press conference.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump.
Right. So for those of you that are just listening, the captions here are how it started, right? So I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump if I didn't think she could do it. So he's trying to talk about Vice President Kamala heels up Harris, and he accidentally name drops the number one name that's been living in his head rent free for the past like fucking 8-10 years now, something like that, somewhere around there. And he accidentally drops Vice President Donald Trump. The next video is how the video ended, right? So this is when he's taking questions, and basically is right before he walked off, and the guy asked him, obviously, they're making fun of you on the internet right now, and what do you think? Or Donald Trump's making fun of you on the internet right now. What do you got to say to that? And he says, listen to him. Obviously, this man has no idea what the fuck is going on. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even think he knows what the fuck he was trying to say right there, right? This dude's in full panic mode, man. This guy is fried, and he's panicking because he knows that his goose is cooked.
I think a part of that is he's completely out of touch with reality, and all he hears is the leftist talking heads running around like Donald Trump's got dementia. You know what I'm saying? And then you see like that so-called journalist in the crowd asking a question. You can tell he was a leftist because he had to throw in that moralistic ageism. Donald Trump's using this to fucking mock, your mental stability and your age. It's not about his fucking age. Donald Trump is just as old. You keep hearing these leftist talking heads again, Harry Sissy and them throwing that word in, age. It's not about that. It's about steep fucking mental decline.
Right. Right. It's about cognitive ability, right? Yeah. It's about the ability to string an entire sentence together. All right. Yeah. Of course, the Democrats, they don't care who's the president, right? As they've said on multiple occasions, especially now, they've said they don't give a shit. They'll vote for Joe Biden in a coma if they have to, right? They don't care about who's the president because they don't see it as an actual, role. They see it as a ceremonial position. Right. They see it as basically that's the symbol of the party that's in power. Right. in reality, it really is the face that the United States presents to the rest of the world. That is our representative on the world stage. That is, by name, our commander in chief. That is the person that controls the armies. That's the person that controls basically how laws get enforced, right? That's basically the person whose foot is in the United States boot that crashes through other nations in the world. And basically other nations in the world are not in any way, shape, or form afraid of this man who's, obviously a bit old, and his own cabinet doesn't respect him. They're obviously just leading him along. As you said, he's just got people around him all day, basically just feeding him information that he wants to hear. Yeah, and it really is elder abuse. It really is elder abuse. I mean, if anything, they're not helping his dementia at all, just playing these mind games with him. Like, no, what are you talking? You don't have dementia. Trump does, remember? Oh man, come on. They're probably fucking this dude up way more than he even would be, had he not been in the position that he's in right now.
Yeah, but for the fact that he's a fucking lifelong lizard fucking piece of shit, I have no sympathy for the
Right.
carcass. You know what I'm saying? And I think Tim hit it on the head when he said fucking Jill's brim of worm tongue.
Right. Let's see. The White House is just sharpied over Biden's broken brain from a moment from last night's big boy press conference.
Have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president. So I think she's not qualified.
So whitehouse.gov says, and separately, what concerns do you have about Vice President Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the ticket? The president says, look, I would have picked Vice President / Trump Harris to be vice president. Did I think she was not qualified to be president? So let's start there. Number one, right? Even though the White House transcripts, they're
Qualified to be president. So let's start there.
It wouldn't be the first time that they've covered form, relabeled words. That's really the whole thing with trying to hold Garland in contempt right now, is because we know that they do that. So they're basically trying to say like, oh, you got the transcripts from the Robert Hur interview. That's what else do you need? You got the transcripts, Well, no, because we know that you guys doctor stuff for him on a regular basis. So the transcripts aren't going to cut it for us. We want the actual videos, or we're going to hold you in contempt. And basically there's a whole double standard of justice that we have going on. Basically, if you're on the left-wing establishment side, you're above the law. If you're in any way, shape, or form conservative, or in any way associated with Donald Trump, they're just going to slap that label on you and just automatically find you guilty before anything even starts. All right.
Absolutely. And the word Orwellian has been used so many times, it's fucking played out. But I got to still believe that, with the lack of reading and shit in this country, there's still a huge portion of the population that doesn't know what that means. And this is the definition right here. The main character in the story, his fucking job is going back and rewriting fucking information. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 That's the reality that we live in, man. It's the machine. Yeah, it really is like kind of crazy just to see how, people that are still walking around in that, with that I don't know, I guess filter over their eyes and their ears, that they can't see anything that's actually going on around them. They just hear, talking point, or they hear, a celebrity said this, so that must be, the truth. And it's the same time, it's the most ridiculous part is the people that are just so sure of themselves, like, oh, I saw an article in Cosmo once. I'm practically an expert,
Right. But a lot of those people too, they just don't give a fuck, and they look at America as some fucking evil entity that should be brought down. And like you said about them not caring about, exactly who the president is, it's pretty obvious because this dude is not the fucking president. You know what I mean? This is a fucking shadow puppet for fucking the Obamas, and you even have CNN now coming out saying, this is a coordinated attack from Axelrod and Obama and shit.
Yep. I mean, obviously, Obama is not very proud of his former vice president, right? It's been made apparent with the whole, hand holding and grabbing him off the stage. A lot of people have been saying. And now it's become very apparent that that did seem to be orchestrated. You know, that seemed to be intentional. That wasn't just you know, him just Biden needs some help off stage. You know, like, I mean, obviously the moment was opportune. You know, because obviously Joe Biden is a you know, not there mentally, so it's not like he had to, you know, set up anything. He just kind of had to wait for the moment to arise, make sure there was lots of cameras around, and let's lead you off stage, Grandpa. And yeah, now it's becoming much more apparent. A lot of these donors, they're not necessarily donating to Joe Biden. They're not necessarily like, oh, we believe in Joe Biden. They're donating to the party in power, right? They're donating to basically whoever the fuck the Democrats put out. And that's why they, like I said at the beginning of the show, a lot of these people really are, they're just oblivious to everything going on, because everything that they do is, you know, money and fucking, you know, entertainment deals and all this and that shit, and, you know, Epstein Island stuff. They're not actually paying attention to what's actually going on with politics. And so a lot of people really are just reading the headlines, just getting their shit from the tabloids. And you know, a lot of, you know, like wealthy elite people are just getting their shit, you know, from the fucking tabloids or Yahoo fucking News real quick. And they really are just coming to terms for the first time that this guy might not be all the way there. So yeah, they're all jumping ship.
I think it's I think they knew as well. I think the vast majority, man, especially elites. I think it's this is like one of the most vast conspiracies you've ever seen unfold. And it's right up there with the fucking JFK assassination, as far as I'm concerned, man. This is the second coup you've seen in our country in, you know, decades.
Right. Yep. The fucking the deep state has gone rogue, to put it lightly. It's become its own you know, its own autonomous entity. It's basically it has goals now, right? Just like you know, a person that you know, starts a business or something like that, they're always chasing after the next investment that's going to grow their business, right? That's just basically the same principle that government has taken on. It's basically taken on a mind of its own, and now every single thing that it has set itself up with, all the consequences, all of the people in power, basically everything is to continue and expand the power of the government, because it's really become a giant money-making scheme for all these people, right? With fiat currency, basically they have a unlimited license to print out money. It's funny, I was watching a documentary about you know, just a short little video about America's financial issues and inflation and stuff right now in our slowing market. And the dude was out there basically saying, like, all right, so, you know, with the smile on his face and everything, just like, all right, so what America does is basically inflation is a good thing. So that way, you know, so what we do is we borrow a lot of money from other countries, right? And we sell them off in treasury bonds, right? So we have to pay this money back to these other countries with interest. So in order to get that interest lower, we just rather than having to pay them the full amount, we just inflate the dollar. So that way we still owe them the same amount, but we're paying them with less valued dollars. Right? They're just sitting there with a smile on their face, like that's how we do it. That's how we stay afloat, is we rip everyone off. Like, it's like, but the jig is almost up, guys. Like, that's the financial situation that we face here in America.
Good old Keynesians, dude.
Right. And our government's just become addicted to spending, right? They've completely given way to any sort of contest, right? They're just, you know, fuck it, everything, just throw dollars at it, right? That's become U.S. foreign policy, you know, for decades now. You know, what the fuck's going on over there? Who's fighting who? Fuck it, keep throwing money at him, and fucking eventually someone will win, right? We'll back both sides.
Yeah, even now, I mean, it's been shown that fucking, you know, Biden's helped prop up Russia by buying fucking oil through a third party, the Russian oil, you know what I'm saying? Through India, Britain as well. You know, it's, you know, and if you look, the fucking, you know, the average income for Russia has gone up like, you know, thousands of dollars per year since the sanctions have been put out. Yeah, I mean, the ruble's worth more now than it was before that they invaded Ukraine. Huh?
Right. And then, I mean, really, I mean, if you want to look at it just from the time that Joe Biden's taken office, I mean, fucking our enemies, since the adults have been back in the room, our enemies have fucking thrived, right? Well, even our supposed enemies, right? Basically all the people that we put these boogeyman labels on, because everybody needs a boogeyman, but all of these other countries have been thriving. As you said, the ruble's gone up, fucking the yuan's gone up, fucking Russia and China have basically become fucking butt buddies at this point. Not to mention North Korea has also become pretty chummy with them. Really, it's our entire geopolitical position right now is the exact opposite of where we were with Donald Trump, right? I forgot who it was, but I saw some fucking left-wing commentator basically saying Joe Biden's economy maybe isn't that great, maybe yada yada yada, this and that. No, but he's like, but the one thing that we do have with him is his diplomacy, right? Donald Trump's not going to be able to go out there and handle these foreign leaders like Joe Biden would be able to. It's like, that's the worst part of fucking Joe Biden. Like fucking all the money spending, that's the fucking Democrat Party, and Joe Biden just fucking signs off on it and shit. But when it comes to fucking foreign policy and shit like that, that's all fucking Joe Biden's doing. Every fucking bullshit that's gone on, over the last. That's all Joe Biden.
Being able to deal with them's hilarious. You watch video after video of his interactions with like BB and fucking, you know what I mean? Like Modi. I mean, yeah, so on and so on, and they're just like, this guy's a fucking clown, man. You know what I mean?
You got to be fucking kidding me, man.
And then, not to mention Trump's fucking, conducted business across the globe for the vast majority of his life, and in Asia, it's like a whole different process of dealing with someone on a business level than it is in America, and damn well Joe Biden fucking can't wipe his ass. He sure as hell doesn't know how to completely change his personality for the moment.
Right. Let's check out this video here by C3P meme. I actually haven't seen this one yet, even though I was scrolling through this a little earlier.
Really?
I did so good at my big boy press conference. Do I get some ice cream now? Chocolate chip, make me happy.
The funny
so
thing
why
is
you change your background room, Swine? Because it looks way doper, dude.
How's it going, Dogface? Welcome to the show. Good to have you, man.
Yep, dude, that video is really old as shit. He just fucking edited in the fucking I did good at my big boy conference.
Yeah. Actually, I hadn't seen that one even before. It was pretty funny. Yeah, let's check out this one.
It's got to be like a year and a half old, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's looks like a 90-second wrap up of Joe Biden's press conference with a funny looking face as well. Very interesting.
I've been given a list of people to call on here. But he thought he votes in airfares. I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president. I said, Putin. I said, no, I'm sorry. Initiatives of, in the nation. What would I do? Computer chip fact. My the Cold War is over, Mark. I think I brought on. I asked Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Australia. I already mentioned Australia. Let me see them. Anyway. Cited the toss on anyway, control guns, not girls or children. 2025 neurological exams by a neurologist. But I'm good. What are you doing? Create some head in the thing, and every single day. It's not gonna happen. I'm not being so expensive. No one's saying that. I've been
That's just fucking hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's just fucking great. Well, on that note, I'll talk about the commie party basically ditching AOC.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, what's go ahead and break it down. Right? So basically, the commie party is excommunicated her for not being down with the jihad.
The Democratic fucking Socialists of Americas, right? Distancing themselves from fucking what has basically been the face of that organization for the past few years. Pretty hilarious because she's riding with Biden's, and she's not burn it down enough apparently, because you even have the Young Turks who helped get her elected out here saying that she's completely flipped and she's not doing anything that pertains to their agenda, which is fucking hilarious.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's an
Even
actress. What did you
progressive, bro.
expect? Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking. I mean, I don't know. The whole dynamic to me is just weird. I mean, it's like I say, it's the commies working with the jihadists. It's obviously they're of the mindset of the enemy of my enemy is my friend and shit. So I mean, it's not too far of a stretch, but just the dynamic that we're seeing here in America. We got fucking gay pride walking with the fucking free Palestine people, walking with the fucking democratic socialists of America. It's a weird dynamic, especially with all of them basically vying for some form of pull in their specific direction with the Democratic Party. Right. And of course, obviously you can't have the party that divided. The whole thing about the Democratic Party is that they march in lockstep, right? That's been their thing. That's our whole fucking our that's been the Republican fucking whole thing against them. Oh, we can't beat them. They just march in lockstep. We over here we fucking actually argue out moral decisions and shit like that, and they just over there march in lockstep with whatever the party says. But that's not so much the case anymore. It's seeming like again the Democrat Party is going through several different splits right now. All right. Same thing that's been kind of going on with the Republican Party, especially during the primaries, over this last year. But it's I don't know. It's different with the Democrat Party because, of course, the Republican Party, it's really just a bunch of us fucking people just on the internet over here ranting. It's the middle to lower middle class people just fucking sitting over here ranting. With the Democrats, it's the people that either one have no clue what they're talking about. They read a fucking article one time and now they're suddenly an expert, or two, it's the fucking establishment elite people that are basically lie to you at every turn and here, throw more money at the party that's going to win. So it's
with those people that read the article, you also got to weave in there the fucking college students that were
right.
radicalized in their fucking basket weaving classes, and now they think they fucking know everything. Like the ones that go to great lengths to use a vocabulary to make themselves seem fucking smarter than they are.
I read the thesaurus.
Right.
Right. So yeah, it's really, really interesting to see. What way do you think AOC is going to end up going? I mean, it's obviously like you mentioned, the Young Turks earlier. They're done. Like they're not obviously they're not moving toward any sort of conservatism, but they're done with the fucking Democrat Party. It's I mean seemingly they're not necessarily done. I guess they're just really angry with the current status quo on the left right now.
I think it's going to radicalize them more. You know what I mean? Like you said, they're done with the Democrat Party. They want a Bernie style fucking party, and even Bernie is not left enough for them. You know what I mean? And I believe AOC is being woven in to the fucking Democrat establishment. Like they're just swallowing her fucking wholesale, and they're using her for their advantage. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and it's I don't know. Like I said, we're definitely like we've been talking about for the past few years. We're definitely on the precipice of a new era here in America. And it's
at that same time though, dude, you got these people talking shit, these people trying to distance themselves from her, but yet she just won re-election by like a fucking huge margin. You know
right.
what I mean?
Right. Even with her own, constituents fucking cussing her out in the streets. They still, man, fuck this bitch. I don't give a fuck. Still gonna vote for her ass.
That's been a huge problem in this country for many fucking years, dude. That you got fucking, congressmen and senators that have been around for 30, 40 years and have approval rating of equal of dog shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
people would literally rather step in dog shit than fucking deal with these people, but yet they're reelected over and over and over.
Yep. Just like what was it, like three fucking Republican, fucking deep red fucking districts were the ones that voted to against the $10,000 a day fines on Merrick Garland.
Yeah, I think it was 4 total though, right?
I don't remember. I was taking the stab in the dark at the number, but I know there's a couple.
Yeah,
of
I believe it's
scumbag
4
Republicans.
total. I believe it's 4 total that voted against it, and a couple of Republicans were out. Massey, his wife passed away, fucking, and then Scalise was getting cancer treatment. You know what I mean? Like there was some other shit which is going to happen. I mean, that's fucking human nature. But yeah,
Right.
turncoats, pieces of shit. Establishment fucking shills, dude. It doesn't matter what letter they have before their name, and usually if it's an R, they're ready to bow down and suck on some Zach.
Right. Doesn't even give a fuck.
Yeah, candy asses. You see, like we're just talking about the Young Turks. Like they're done with the fuck Democrat Party. Yeah, I'm done with the Republican Party. Like the only reason that they're getting my vote this time is because of Trump. Dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just about everybody else down ticket can eat a fucking dick, dude. You know what I mean? Pieces of shit.
Fucking eat a dick, eh?
Yeah.
But
Stick
so I
it
guess
in your throat and suck it.
so I guess that also begs the question, though. Like I said, we're on the seemingly like a precipice of a new era here in America, which would basically seem like hopefully best case scenario would be just a restructuring of our political parties, our political leaders, basically. Obviously, like we're seeing here, there'd be a restructuring of the Democrat Party, the Progressive Party, whatever the fuck you want to call them. There's obviously been a restructuring of the Republican Party, where basically the old Republicans are basically being hunted out now, right? A lot of these people that have been, like we were saying, in positions of power for like 30 plus fucking years with abysmal approval ratings, because who the fuck's going to vote them out? Nobody in their fucking district ever, runs against them. They never get primaried. They don't have anything to worry about, right? So yeah, basically we're seeing a restructuring of both political sides. Of course, it's the whole question is into what. What are we going to restructure into? Typically, if you look at the way that America's gone, it hasn't been restructuring towards more freedoms. It's really been restructuring towards more centralized federal power. So that's another kind of scary little food for thought. But in terms of geopolitics, how do you think the geopolitical situation would go if America was undergoing this period of restructure? And it did end up getting bad. Like say Donald Trump wins and shit hits the fan with the lefties, next year or something like that.
I mean, it's hard to say. You know what I mean? You could see it taken advantage of very easily. That would be the time for people to, fuck around and commit some shenanigans, right? I mean, but at that same time, it's a volatile time, so you might not want to fuck around because people are going to be more on edge and ready to fucking do some extreme acts.
Ready to let people find out.
Yeah. And there's always that, there's like 500 million fucking firearms in this country. I mean, that's not even including military or government. You know what I mean? That's just privately owned firearms. So I mean, you don't want to fuck around too much.
Right. Yeah. And definitely not within a geopolitical sense as well. I don't, again, I've we've talked about it a few times. Even if America were to get into some sort of civil war, I don't really think we have much danger of
that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Like sort of foreign person.
Even if the government's not firing on all cylinders, there's still hundreds of millions of us with hundreds of millions of firearms and billions of fucking rounds.
Right. I guess the main worry would be that they're not worried about taking, they don't want to take over America. They just want to kick America off of its pedestal.
Right.
then they would have more than enough opportunity if things were to get, bad for a period of time, here in America.
So I said they'll take advantage of it, and that's what I believe BRICS is partially there for, man. It's not only for stability purposes, but for extreme instability. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to insulate them. So they're going to conduct business, and business is going to be good, and it's going to fucking grow.
Right.
And we're going to be behind. We are now. We've relied on other countries for so long,
Yep. Yeah, it's it really, like I said, this next year is pivotal for America. And like I said, the best case scenario really would just be all of us rethinking the way that our people in power are held to account, rethinking our political leaders, rethinking our just what makes America America. We would need to have some sort of complete sort of a peaceful and thoughtful restructuring, rather than just people fighting and basically vying for power again, because that would really kind of fuck us up. But either way, even if it is just a sort of political restructuring, depending on which way it ends up going on the immediate, like say if Donald Trump gets in and basically cracks fucking whips and gets all these other fucking nations basically back in the good graces of America, or vice versa, and basically just makes America a contender again on the world stage. I think that we could save face economically on the global scale. But the big problem is that Donald Trump would be the only candidate that I see right now that'd be even capable of doing that. Right? Basically, any Democrat gets in there and just continues fucking throwing money at all these fucking foreign wars and shit, they're gonna bleed us dry. They're gonna completely bleed us dry. And I think that's what the fucking plan is. If you actually look at what they've been doing to the Biden administration, they're just fuck it, get them to keep fucking sending more money. Fucking, what is it? Putin hasn't even really started spending fucking money. Putin hasn't even really started fucking actually expending munitions and troops and shit. He's really just been kind of fucking with them for the last couple of years. So he's really just bleeding us fucking dry. And I think if a Democrat gets into power, that's going to be the continuation until we are dried out and fucked. Right? But if Trump gets into power, then of course the unhinged fucking leftist shittards, fucking Antifa and all these other fucking people are going to burn this fucking country to the ground, or at least attempt to. They're gonna get pretty far. So that required Trump to basically be fighting on not only the foreign front, but basically the home front, which I think a strong leadership on the home front could go a long way with a lot of these foreign leaders as well too.
Yeah, I think he has to be able to wield power this time. Can't be afraid to fucking get at it, because I believe what you're saying is exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be a replay of 2017. They were fucking burning down DC. They talk about an insurrection. I mean, again, these people cause billions of dollars of fucking damage every time that they act out in these ways. And it's just fucking laughed at, swept under the rug, and made excuses for. You know what I mean? And Trump wanted to use the National Guard previous fucking term. And because of leftist meltdown and panic and, fascism, he didn't. But it did. People are burning down cities and fucking murdering cops. That's what the fuck they're there for. That's what you do. And I've said this before. I hate this shit because leftists will have you sticking up for entities, people, and groups that you don't fucking agree with or not on the side with and couldn't give two shits about. You know what I mean? And that's what it boils down to. I mean, it's either you let these people use our freedoms against us to destroy shit and burn it down, or fucking use the power that you're granted and fucking wield it correctly.
Yep.
Democrats, that's one thing you can say, right? Like you said, they always vote in lockstep. They circle wagons. But most importantly, it may not be for good, and you may not agree with what they do with it, but they wield power, man.
Right. And again, a lot of, foreign, leaders and stuff, they also take notice to that too. Right. So, I mean, again, handling stuff on the foreign, politics stage, that really does when you're able to control your people at home, that does, again, it shows that you're a strong leader to foreign governments. Why do you think Gavin Newsom actually cleaned out the fucking streets for the first time in his entire fucking career when Xi Jinping was coming to town? Right? It's because he knows that if Xi Jinping comes to town and he sees fucking people covered in shit on the side of the road shooting up and shit, he's not going to get any sort of respect as a fucking strong leader in the slightest. Right? So the way that you're able to control your population at home goes a long way with foreign politics.
You got to give that one a little context because it's fucking hilarious. Just so everyone knows, we're like in year 9 of Gavin Newsom's $20 billion plan to end homelessness. And fucking, it's not only increased like tenfold, but like my man just here said, you watched him fucking clean it up overnight because fucking the commie leader fucking Xi was landing. And and then as soon as he was gone, it was like, go ahead and do heroines on the street.
Back at it, guys.
Like, I mean,
Supreme Leader's gone.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the border situation. The same thing with Social Security. It's just something to fucking talk about, rile troops, and get fucking elected or reelected on. That's all it is. They have no fucking plan whatsoever except for fucking burn this bitch down and line pockets while doing it.
Right. Hence the reason that fucking you should expect things like gas to stable out and shit right now, because of course it's election season, man. Fucking that's why we're seeing the Biden administration trying to supposedly close the border and talking about like, oh, we've always been for border security. It's the Republicans and shit because it's election season, man. Basically everything that they've been fucking up on and ignoring over the past 3 years, over this next like 3 to fucking basically like about 6 months before the actual election, that's when they actually start kicking it into high gear and fucking like, oh, don't worry, we're actually we're sending out the cleanup crews to all the streets. We're cleaning up this place. Like, see, we've done so much for you guys. Look at how great we are. Vote for us again.
Yep.
So
break your legs, sell you a crutch, and then tell you what a good job they did looking out, man.
Right. Yep. That's election season in a fucking nutshell. Fucking you sent me an article earlier about fucking Biden's administration taking credit for the lowering gas prices. I didn't get to actually read it though. What was the gist of it though?
I mean, you remember the whole presidents don't control gas prices, shit like that. And of course, anytime the gas price goes down, it's look, we lowered it. Fucking dream, cringe up there on the fucking podium as usual, lying to your fucking face and telling you, not mentioning how they fucking 2-timed the gas price and now it's down 50% from fucking its peak, right? Which is still fucking almost double the fucking gas price. But of course, when they reduce your fucking, your portion of chocolate for the month, they make you believe that's double plus good. And,
right.
And you remember when Biden says that shit, dude, fucking, about the whole border, yada, yada, like he was doing in his fucking big boy fucking speech, about, Trump fucking stopped him from closing the border. Remember, man, that was codifying fucking over fucking $1 million a month. You know what I'm saying? $1 million a month border crossings.
All right. Yeah, fucking. Speaking of border crossings,
it's commerce.
All right. It's for the betterment of the country. It's for the businesses.
Mm-hmm. But we need you to pressure wages.
Right. You want to talk about the SAVE Act real quick?
Sure.
All right, so now Congress just passed the SAVE Act, as you mentioned at the beginning of the show. So basically, it's the Safeguarding American Voter Eligibility Act, and we had 198 Dems vote against this, and only 5 of them vote in favor for this, right? So it's a one-page document real quick. I'll go ahead and just speed read through it real quick. So radical progressive Democrats are taking drastic steps to fundamentally remake America through open borders, the release of millions of illegal aliens into our communities, and by waging a full-scale assault on election integrity laws. The problem: since taking office, Joe Biden's administration has released at least 4.6 million illegal aliens into the country, with 1.8 million known gotaways in many states in many states, these illegal aliens are eligible for driver's licenses and other benefits, providing ample opportunities to illegally register to vote in federal elections. In some jurisdictions, non-citizens are even able to vote in local elections. While only U.S. citizens can legally vote in federal elections, federal law has generally preempted and undermined state laws requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote in such elections. Representative Chip Roy's SAVE Act would fix this problem, thwart Democrats' efforts to cement one-party rule, and uphold and strengthen current law by requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. So what it does is it amends the National Voter Registration Act, which has governed state voter registration since 1993, to require states to obtain documentary proof of U.S. citizenship and identity in person when registering an individual to vote in a federal election. This requirement applies regardless of whether an individual is registering to vote at a DMV, a voter registration agency such as a welfare office, or by mail. It directs states to establish an alternative process for applicants that may not have documentary proof of citizenship but are in fact U.S. citizens due to religious reasons or otherwise, subject to minimum standards set by the Election Assistance Commission and signed attestations and affidavits by both the applicant and official making the determination. Direct states to provide reasonable accommodations for disabled Americans and applicants that have discrepancies on their documentation due to a name change. Requires states to establish a program to remove non-citizens from their existing voter rolls, and gives states no-cost access to Department of Homeland Security and Social Security Administration databases to do so. It empowers citizens to bring civil suits against election officials that fail to uphold proof of citizenship requirements for federal elections by expanding the NVRA's existing private right of action, and adds penalties for election officials that register non-citizens to vote in federal elections. And finally, directs the Election Assistance Commission to promptly update guidance associated with the SAVE Act and streamlines updates to federal forms by examining the updates of the Paperwork Reduction Act. So, in other words, it closes that fucking loophole that Help America Vote Registration Act, or whatever the fuck it is. They got like two different ones. We actually went over it a couple weeks back on the show, but basically, yes, illegal immigrants don't have to show any sort of proof of citizenship. The Help America Vote Registration Act basically makes it to where all you have to do is check a box as to whether or not you would like to register to vote. As soon as you register to vote, they basically generate a ballot for you, and then they start to, oh, well, do you have some IDs and stuff like that? So the whole thing with illegal immigrants voting is that I guess they're not allowed to vote in local elections, right? In local elections, I guess that they look deeper into it or whatever. But in federal elections, not so much, right? It's basically, how many people do you hear of that get arrested for fucking, voting when they're not supposed to vote, right? Not really a thing. Nobody ever looks into it. So this is basically just a simple step that would require basically people to show actual documented government ID when they're registering to vote. All right. What's your take on the whole thing?
I think Democrats are racist as fuck. For real, the racism of lowered expectations is absolutely disgusting, and you still have a massive portion, like 70+% of blacks that fully throw their support behind these fucking reptiles that are telling you are too fucking inept and low income to afford a $12 fucking ID. You know what I'm saying? And the Democrats standing on the floor melting down. The bamboozling fucking Hakeem Jeffries out there telling you, these people it's already illegal for these people to vote for Senate or the presidency, right? Doesn't say Congress, but, names those two specifically. So, basically this is, moot. Why would you pass this? Well, if it's already illegal, then what's the fucking problem with passing it? You know what I'm saying? And then them telling you, I forgot the other rep that was on the floor melting down, but she's saying that this is the current fucking Jim Crow poll tax that they don't want to hear. You know what I mean? This is not a tax. Right. Everybody's got to have an ID. If it's a tax, all of us fucking pay it because you got to have an ID to do shit in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
and telling you that they don't want to hear black or brown voices. She's literally telling you she wants fucking people that aren't supposed to be voting. You know what I mean? That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't want blacks. If it fucking, I don't care what skin color you is, or you are rather. Sorry, you just
You
bust
is?
out your right, bust out your ID, your license. Fucking, you know what I mean? Everybody's got the shit. And almost any time that you see these men on the street interviews with dudes asking black people, like, do you have a problem with voter ID? No. Do you have a license? Yes. Do you know anybody that doesn't? No. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. All of us got to have fucking jobs. And even if you don't got to get jobs, you still got to be able to show ID to do what? Buy fucking beer, fucking smokes. I mean, the list just keeps going, dude. I mean, a lot of places will ID folks for lottery. Fuck. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, they got that white savior complex going on. Like some of them got it real deep, where basically they view anybody that's not a white person as basically oppressed and in essence inferior because they say that they can't obtain fucking IDs and basically they have absolutely zero power and people don't allow them to vote and victim they're this they're that. Basically they slap all these labels on them that makes them seem like they're a child that needs your help, and it's basically the
I don't
whole
know what the word computer is. They fucking,
right.
I mean,
And some of them ain't never heard of the word computer before. Like,
yeah,
you
they don't
fucking
know how
kidding
to
me?
get a copy. They don't
Right.
there's no Kinkos in the hood.
Right. IT? They don't even know what that word means. They don't know what that even stands for. Right. But then at the same time, it's like you were saying, it's they basically use the fucking the gun violence argument, right? The Republican fucking argument that basically we use all the time, and they're like, oh well, we're not trying to take away guns, we're trying to reduce gun violence and stuff like that. Well, murder and fucking gun violence is already illegal, so basically just lock up the people that when they do it. And the whole argument here is, well, it's illegal immigrants voting is already illegal, right? Well, then basically we just need to reinforce it so that way we could actually lock up the people when they do it, right? We're just trying to add some extra laws on top just to kind of supplement the laws that we already have existing in place, right? It's the exact same fucking argument. It's just in a different aspect, right? Their whole thing is toward the Second Amendment, right? Like it's oh, we're not trying to take away your guns, we're trying to make it safer, right? Well, we're not trying to take away people's rights to vote, we're trying to make elections actually legit, actually believable, actually something that people can a system that people could believe in, where they actually believe their vote counts and it's not getting drowned out by some fucking Juan Pablo that probably doesn't even fucking exist. They probably just fucking some random fucking Democrat operative just printed out a fucking ballot for them and wrote a fucking random name and 4 numbers for a social security number. And there you go. Vote for Biden.
Not to mention, you can go on like Tim covered it pretty extensively recently. You've got states like fucking Missouri and Texas that have been having like 50,000 people, 40,000 people a month for the past several months concurrently trying to apply without ID or without proof of citizenship. And I would love to ask the fucking draconian preacher, fucking old Hakeem, if it's illegal for these people to vote in federal elections, explain the law we've covered here in Arizona, where if you can't prove you're a citizen, you get a federal only fucking ballot. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you even saying?
We'll just let you choose who the president is.
Right.
Nothing important though.
You don't get any local representation, but fucking you get to pick who runs the country.
Right. There's also the argument of basically, so like how California is, right? So basically they have a whole bunch of extra congressional seats because they have so many illegal immigrants living there because they're a sanctuary state, right? And they're right on the border. So basically people have been coming freely into America through California for years now, right? Even before the lifting of Title 42. So they have a whole bunch of extra congressional seats, but the people there don't vote. So that's the argument that they're trying to use, right? Basically, they don't actually get representation. They're basically a captive citizen, captive citizenry, because they can't go anywhere else out in the country. They're illegal immigrants. Well, depending on who's in office, they can't go anywhere else in the country. They're illegal immigrants. They'll get deported, right? So basically, they're stuck there in California. They're going to continue to be on the census. They can't vote, so they don't get any say in who their representatives are. And basically, that's the argument that the Democrats are trying to use as well too. That basically, well, they're citizens too. They've been living here for years, just like you and me. They contribute to society, whatever, And basically, they're trying to they need to be able to vote for their representatives as well too. Like, no, they don't.
Right, that's
No, they
destroying
don't.
the country. Right, that's building political enclaves, man. You know what I'm
As a matter
saying?
of fact, you guys are defying the fucking federal government by allowing them to fucking live in your state in the first place. Like you're literally fucking legally bound by the federal government to deport these fucking people. But you are, in defiance of the federal government that you're so fucking big on. You think should be able to govern everyone's lives, right? You want fucking everything governed by the federal government, down to fucking gun laws to abortion rights and all this and that shit. But when
The
it comes
size
to
of the pop you can purchase.
right, but when it comes to immigration, no, that's a states' right thing. Like, you go fuck yourselves. You guys are ridiculous. But yep, clearly it's just because we're all racist. I bet. I mean, maybe we'll see the Democrat light one day and finally come to realize that actually we really are all just Nazis.
Yep. And for anyone that's interested, man, like I said, Tim goes pretty in depth with the voter registration shit, and his source is the Social Security Registration Board. Okay, so this isn't some fucking bullshit. This is right wing's opinions. You know what I mean? This is from the Social Security Administration, and they even go on to talk about like Texas, for instance. Last month, like I said, 50,000 people tried to apply to vote or register to vote with fucking no ID, and 1,500 of those use Social Security numbers of deceased people. Okay, and we know that Biden has these people on the speed pass for work permits. When they get a work permit, they're supposed to get like a temporary Social Security, which, by the way, they're collecting your shit as they fucking drain it and tell you everything's cool. But again, so they're not supposed to reuse these Social Security numbers, but obviously that's not the case. Or this is just blatant fucking, let's register my dead aunt to get a fucking ballot or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Going through a registry of obituaries. Fuck.
I wouldn't put it past them, man. Yeah, like I said, obviously their candidate is not going to make it, and they don't have anybody that's viable enough to go against Trump. They either cheating or taking out Trump is the only fucking two options that they have left, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen in Michigan, but the governor Gretchen Whitmer there, fucking wicked witch of the East, or the Midwest rather, right? She fucking just signed a massively draconian bill where basically it's illegal to question fucking elections. Like they can't even investigate fraud. It has to go through the Soros fucking DA. You know what I mean? Local attorneys and shit to even start the process. Like it can't be started by an election integrity board or anything like that.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yep. And you wonder why people don't have faith in our elections anymore, right?
It doesn't get more blatant than that. Like you are not allowed to fucking question elections. Like, no, dude, that's, you know what I mean? Like you're talking about democracy constantly at every turn of your fucking lizard lips, but yet you do everything you can to either block it or destroy it at that fucking same time, man. The other side of the fucking forked tongue.
Yep. So I say, man, just only thing that we could hope for is a peaceful reform.
You brought some change, nigga.
Right. That change gonna be coming for real this time. Ain't no Obama bullshit. All right, so let's talk real quick about the Biden DOJ has dropped the obstruction charges, obstructing of an official proceedings charge. Yeah, let's see. We got a short article real quick. I'll run through this real quick. So Biden's DOJ backs down from J6 charges. Joe Biden's Department of Justice has dropped the obstruction of an official proceedings charge against the first January 6th defendant following the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Fisher v. United States. Last month, the High Court ruled against the Biden DOJ, determining the department unlawfully used an obstruction statute from a 2002 financial crimes bill to prosecute over 350 of the January 6th defendants. Late Thursday, federal prosecutors submitted a motion to drop the obstruction charge in their case against the January 6th defendant, Mark Shadeh. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It could be, but either way. In their filing, federal prosecutors contended that the court's rejection of a continuance to assess the impact of the Fisher decision made dropping the obstruction charge the most expedient option to move Shadeh's trial forward. The defendant, a resident of Massachusetts, will still face charges of unlawful entry, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. The Biden DOJ attorneys likely understood that any attempts to revive the obstruction charge through other avenues would not sit well with U.S. District Court Judge Carl Nichols. The Fisher case was originated with Judge Nichols in March 2002. Nichols ruled in January 6 defendant Joseph W. Fisher's favor, dismissing the obstruction charge against 3 of the January 6 defendants. The federal D.C. District Circuit Court of Appeals reversed Nichols' ruling in a 2-1 decision in April 2023, setting up the Supreme Court showdown. The National Post reported in March that the judge granted early release to January 6 defendant Kevin Seifried after the Supreme Court agreed to hear Fisher. Yeah, so that's about it.
Yeah, but like you've seen, it's only going to affect a few hundred. You know what I'm saying? Out of the fucking, what is it, 1,200 at this point now that's been charged, or some ridiculous fucking number. But one thing is, one of those charges are on Trump. You know what I mean? So that does play out. But at the same time, you hope this adds up to a lot of reductions in fucking sentences. But again, this law was created to fucking prosecute people shredding paperwork at Enron. You know what I mean? And then also, something that they're not mentioning here is at that same time, if you remember, the Supreme Court also fucking ruled that you can't just add riders fucking, willy-nilly. You know what I mean? Like the terrorist fucking rider that they've tried to place on everybody as well. They said, no, can't do that, man. That's not terror. Yours is scared? I'm not scared.
It's terrorized. I ain't terrorized. Right. But a bit of a victory there. Of course, as the article said, they're still going to have all the whole litany of other charges, like let's see, what is it? Unlawful entry, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. That one really kind of rubs me wrong, because if you've been watching the news over the last 2 fucking years, year and a half, something like that,
there's 4 years.
Right. I mean, there's been a quite a bit of Free Palestine picketing, even inside the Capitol building itself, during
abortion protesters
proceedings. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
State capitals, city capitals, fucking quarters for fucking congressmen and senators. Fucking, I mean, the list just keeps going. And then, not to mention, I mean, the burning down the fucking president's church, fucking, you know what I'm saying, where the president had to be rushed down to the bunker. Fucking, I mean, there was an actual insurrection that took place, like a 3-day siege of the White House. But these motherfuckers ain't, talking shit. But, grandma, that was there, or fucking, what was his name? Enrique Tarrio, that was in a different state. He's got to get 20 fucking years in prison.
Right. Yep. But it's okay. There's nobody's above the law. That's why.
Exactly. Lady Liberty is blind, man. I'm telling you.
Right.
That bitch can't see her hand in front of her face unless it's her left hand.
Right. But hopefully, like I said, the best case scenario would just be you'll get fucking Donald J's up in there, and he'll get everybody up out of there. Hopefully, we'll see. I mean, of course, he'll promise the moon and everything. At the end of the day, he is still a human being that is running for president.
But you got to remember, a president doesn't have a mandate without fucking, legislative fucking branch behind him. And, like we were just talking about, people tend to reelect the worst fucking representatives they possibly can. Nancy Pelosi's been in that bitch since fucking I was in junior high. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, fucking yep, the worst ones, they go forever, right? Especially in solid districts, right? So in solid blue districts, they're never going to get those same fucking people out of there. It's always going to be the same people no matter what the fuck they do. Right? Same thing in these deep solid red districts. A lot of the people just, fuck it. Every single person there is going to vote Republican. They don't actually, research their candidates and shit like that. So
And it goes back to people really don't want freedom. People really don't want change. You know what I mean? Like you said,
right.
they carry these low ass approval ratings. Then people, not only do they reelect them, but what else do you hear about any other candidate besides fucking the main two that the media says you have to vote for? They're always, well, he can't win. That's wasting your votes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Give him your vote and he might win. You know what I mean? It's fuck. You have all these leftists that are with JFK, but I mean, dude, if you wanted to replace Biden, that's your prime fucking candidate to me.
Right.
To me, that guy would fucking smoke camel toes and fucking Hillary and all them fucking whores. You know what I mean?
That's the whole thing too, man. That's another fucking theory as to why they allowed Biden to go on this long and why they basically pretended that they didn't notice that the dude was for the past fucking year and a half is because they didn't want RFK to win the nomination. Right now that he's already running as an independent, he's already got his own financial backing. He's already got his own vice president picked out and everything.
Dedicated delegates.
Right. It's too late. I mean, the best case scenario that the Democrats could really, or not necessarily the Democrats, but the people that are RFK supporters could really hope for is that a lot more people decide to jump ship on the Democrat Party altogether, no matter who they put in, and just go ahead and fucking vote the independent ticket. But again, that's fucking wishing on a fucking miracle. It's not going to happen. That's very, very wishful thinking right there.
That's way too far
right.
out of thought for the majority, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I mean, that's really the best case scenario for, the leftists. And basically, if this country were to fucking go to any fucking sort of leftist at all, I mean, I guess it'd be better to have that asshole than any of the other fucking, sycophantic Democrat assholes,
Even if you think about it, third party, like, their so-called candidate gaffes that you've seen, like, for instance, like a Gary Johnson. No, what is Aleppo? You know what I mean? And at the time, it's like, oh, dude, you fucked it up. But then, now years later, you think back, and I've heard other people discuss it as well. Like, that was actually the correct fucking response. Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit about Syria. I'm running for president of the United States, man. You know what I mean? Fuck Syria.
Yep. Yeah, fucking. I don't know, man. Fucking this country's in for a rude awakening, man. I say, hoping for the best, but like I say, all signs point to some sort of fecal matter is going to make contact with some sort of spinning, rotating blade of some sort in the year 2025.
Yeah, before that, there's going to be an October surprise. There always is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's going to be to kill Biden. You know what I mean? They're going to put his ass in the coffin or what, dude? But I don't know. I mean, to me, if they're going to do that, they should do it long before then. Like, they're like, fucking, you know what I mean? 20 days till election, Biden's dropping out.
Right. If there's anybody out there that's still completely unaware of what's going on right now, huh? Like, you know what I mean? Like if there's anybody out there like, oh, I don't even know who's running right now. Like, how? How do you not know what the fuck's going on? Literally, this is history. This is history, like, taking place in front of your face right now. Like, how the fuck are you not watching what's going on? Like,
there's a lot of that aloofness, man. I've had, or tried to have conversations with people, and you start, hitting on a topic, and they'll literally look at you like,
right.
What am I going to do, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I just mean, just the matchup in particular, and just the fact that how, I guess, weirdly unique this current situation is for just about every side right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Some definitely some crazy shit's going on.
Weird time to be here, man.
Right. Don't worry, we're on the right side, you guys. I checked again recently. Fucking had to wake up and pinch myself a little bit. Don't worry, we're still the good guys. But let's talk real quick about old fucking Hillary.
Kills Clintons.
All right. So let's see. Court just nailed Hillary Clinton for FEC violation 45 times bigger than Trump's 130K so-called violation. I'm just going to read like the first 2 or 3 paragraphs. It's a pretty long one, but we'll just get the gist real quick. So the Washington, D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled Tuesday that the 2016 Hillary Clinton campaign and an affiliated super PAC violated federal election law in spending that totaled close to $6 million. The amount in question is more than 45 times than the $130,000 a Manhattan court convicted former President Donald Trump of misrepresenting a business records during the same 2016 campaign. It should be noted that the Federal Election Commission and the Justice Department looked at the payments Trump made through his personal attorney at the time, Michael Cohen, to adult film star Stormy Daniels as part of a non-disclosure agreement and declined to prosecute him. But Democrat Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg chose to bring the case under New York law, bootstrapping the alleged FEC violation as an underlying crime to the state's business record violation. Let's see. It's pretty much about it. I don't know. You want to talk about it? I'm going to see if I could find the part where they talk about.
If they were really going to try to get him on something with her, what shouldn't it have just been like solicitation did? You know what I'm saying? He just paid a whore, man. I mean, fuck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we the dude wasn't elected for being like, a moralistic guy. He was elected to fucking, run things, cut fat. Yeah, I'm saying, do business, man.
Yep.
And
save America.
Yeah, as usual, one more fucking, portrait of a corrupt ass fucking justice system where kills here for, what was it again? 45 times, dude. Fucking, the amount. It's just, she's of course going to get a smack on the wrist because, she's always had a D before her name. And I don't mean Dak because she likes to eat clat. But, fucking, she's, nothing's going to happen, of course, man. Like, they'll try to put Trump fucking under the prison for a century. And, this fucking hag will run around and fucking cackle and show her big teeth.
Right.
For the rest of your damn life because she's reptilian and fucking she ain't going nowhere, son.
Right. So, real quick, let's see what it says. The 3-judge panel noted that the correct the record coordinated all these activities with Clinton's campaign. All right, so correct the record. That's the super PAC that was basically funding Hillary's campaign. But it characterized all of the committee's myriad expenditures, from staff salaries and travel expenses to the cost of commissioning polls and renting offices, as, quote, inputs to unpaid communications over the internet. For that reason, neither Correct the Record nor the Clinton campaign designated any of the Correct the Record's expenditures as contributions to the campaign. Uh-oh. Sounds pretty familiar, right? But all right. But the actual big thing that people are worried about is the well, not necessarily worried about, but another thing that they point out in this article is what is it? The Democratic National Committee, 52 advisors. Okay, yep. In a separate matter, the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee agreed in 2022 to pay $113,000 to settle an FEC investigation into alleged violations of campaign finance law in relation to funding the infamous Steele dossier during the 2016 race, according to the Associated Press. The Clinton campaign hired Perkins Coie, which then hired Fusion GPS, a research and intelligence firm, to conduct opposition research on Republican candidate Donald Trump's ties to Russia. But on FEC forms, the Clinton campaign classified the spending as legal services.
Right.
The exact same thing that Donald Trump filed them under. The only thing is, Donald Trump was simply getting a non-disclosure agreement. In the Clinton situation, they were getting a faux dossier to basically try and dupe the public, and they're getting the fucking the Steele hoax, the Russia hoax, right? So there's a bit of a difference there, not necessarily the same, game, but they use the same language, and yet one of them is currently looking at a number of years in prison, and the other one is sitting around going somewhere, somewhere in a fucking place that's nowhere near you because you're nowhere rich enough to live near her.
And the FEC tried to dismiss the fucking case, tried to give her a fucking internet exemption. Like, what the fuck? You get an internet exemption to not do your paperwork? What the fuck, right? But dude, laughable shit. I mean, it's obvious fucking corruption. But in the FEC's defense, if you remember, they refused to take a case against Trump as well. The actual shit that Bragg used, the FEC said that's not a violation. We're not taking a case. Hence the reason he had to keep it in New York, and fucking novelly fucking morph it into a fucking election crime, which is federal in a state crime. So
still use the underlying federal crime was the FEC violation that the FEC themselves said it's not a crime. This is not a joke. True fucking story. Right? True story. Not hyperbole.
This is your timeline, man.
Right. This is reality. This is law in America right now.
Yeah, even with the E. Jean Carroll shit, they literally introduced the law and then fucking so she could fucking go past the statute of limitations. And then
it's only in effect for 1 year.
Gone, yeah, and then just months after the case ended. Oh, that's we're gonna sunset that.
That's
but not
temporary.
Before a Democrat fucking got smacked with it, and of course that was bias and races.
Yeah, of course, it's clearly because of racism, though.
Yep, good times, man.
All right, welcome to fucking Clown World USA. Population, who the fuck knows anymore? Because
right.
Why not?
400 million? I don't
know. Something like that. Yeah, I think we just had several million come in over the last year or two, but who's counting? Not us.
I've heard some fucking crazy figures, man. You know what I mean? Everything from 8 to 20. You know what I'm saying? Everything in between. You've heard those figures. So
yeah. And down to this Chip Roy the Save Act, where it says 4.6 million. And I think that's the lowest number I've seen on the Republican side.
At least in 2 years or so.
Right.
Yeah. And Chip Roy, I don't even know about that guy anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he gives great speeches just like the rest of them. I mean, while he's standing up, giving a speech saying, what the fuck am I supposed to get reelected on? I guess it's fucking getting Biden changed out at the last minute. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know you know what I'm talking about. And he tried to pressure Kamala into using the 25th. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to run against this guy. Right? Yeah, somebody like Bonhino will point it out, man. Fucking, the whole Trump apparatus has been built to fucking fight fucking goddamn the Biden admin. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole lot of money and structure to try to destroy real quick.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't necessarily get to play the whole, let me get retribution on the administration that fucking, use lawfare against me and shit. I mean, technically, he still, can kind of go on that platform, but he wouldn't be running against the guy that actually did it. That's it. Yeah, I mean, it still plays a little bit of a role in people's, sympathy factor.
Not to mention the debate, like you've seen Trump in rare form, in full restraint, and that's because with Biden, let him hang himself, let him fucking talk all night long, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's just the fact that in a verbal way, he literally put on the kid gloves for the guy. People were aware of that too. I mean, they saw Donald Trump basically not trying to flay the dude, just give actual simple talking points. He straight up put the kid gloves on for the guy, and then he has his wife fucking wiping his ass after the debate. Like, you did so good. Everyone's so proud of you.
Yeah, some serious rigidity, dude. You knew all the answers, Joe. There's some pretty
you
good
didn't?
memes of that shit too, dude. Fucking, it's like it's just a random blonde from the back, and there's a dead body standing in front of her, all rotting corpse, dude. You did it, yo.
Yep.
Yeah, and another good one, dude. Fucking old America memes, man. They did this one with the fucking Trump hat, dude, and on the side it says fucking 45 VP and 47. Fuck yeah.
Right. Shit. All righty, man. You got anything else you want to throw in?
Good, man. Fucking let's get ready for some
Baron
shenanigans.
Trump's an adult and on the political stage now.
Right.
He stood up
Towering
and went,
over the competition. Right.
Nope, he's in, man. Yeah.
Fucking gargantuan.
Reportedly, he has a very, very deep interest in politics. So there's a very good chance that we're definitely going to see Baron Trump in politics one of these days.
And he's like a chess champion, so he's got that fucking mindset. It's structure. Right. It's a game, son.
And
I'm gonna beat you on the board.
Unfortunately, the part that actually matters with voters is he's Donald Trump's son. That's probably the thing that's most likely to get him elected rather than anything. It's not going to be his merit or his fucking his actual skills and abilities. It's going to be, oh, I remember that guy. He was Donald Trump's son. Yeah, I'll vote for him. That's our country, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like this video, share this video out with your friends. Links to all of our alternative channels, depending on where you're watching this, are in the description. Links to our social media is in the description as well. Go ahead and subscribe to all of our other channels. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. I think that's about it. Anything you want to add before we get out?
Have a good weekend, man. Fucking watch yourself. Stay strapped.
Hell yeah. Peace.
Smell you later.